Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News channel. Well, it looks like vTHO's vote has really not affected Vechain's price, and we might be in for a new all-time high today. I think actually we will. We're at 9.7 cents with the all-time high being at 9.97, so just 0.27 cents more to go and we'll be at an all-time high. Bitcoin's looking like it's going to rally above 60,000. If that happens, I'm pretty sure VET will be at an all-time high. Even vTHO's value, even though it did get hurt by the news of the vote thing, did not completely just collapse. It's actually up 11% today, up with VET. I'm not really sure if the speculators have just figured it out that now since they've made transaction costs 100 times less, like they can actually speculate vTHO up however much they want, and it really won't make transactions that expensive. So like the foundation doesn't really have that much more incentive to try to pressure vTHO price down, because they basically made the transaction so low that even if vTHO goes up to like 10 cents, it still doesn't really cost that much. It would only cost 70 cents to mint an NFT, which is like peanuts essentially. So the thing is, like, as cool as vTHO thing has, like the VeChain Foundation is basically going by what they said. Like they're basically pulling levers to actually control transaction price, not really to control vTHO price. Like they're not actually diluting the supply by making each VET generate more vTHO, which is what some people have actually said, but that would actually directly affect vTHO price more than this, because this is just like, yeah, we're just gonna make each one do more transactions, but we're not actually like injecting more supply into the system. Like over time, I think it will build up, because you're essentially saying like, yes, there's a lot more vTHO being generated than being filtered out or burned out. So eventually the supply will go much higher. But that's going to take a long time, because they've been generating for 2 years anyways, through 2-3 years anyways. And just making that change won't really affect anything in the short run. Whereas if they actually increase the vTHO generation rate by 100 times, then you'd see massive supply coming in, overwhelming demand, and that would actually make vTHO price go down. So what they actually did does not affect vTHO price nearly as much as actually increasing vTHO generation. So people who are speculating on vTHO should actually be happy with that. I think, like I said, I think the speculators have figured out that like the VeChain Foundation, it doesn't have that much more incentive to actually try to push vTHO down, because transactions are just not that expensive no matter how high it goes up, unless it gets up over $1, which would be like really insane for vTHO, and I don't think that's actually going to happen because there's a big supply there. And VET price hasn't really suffered at all. Like I said, I think it's going to go for a new all-time high. There's also a poll on Crypto News Flash, and this time, like I think for the first time, it was actually, most people thought VeChain was the most undervalued crypto. So there's some more good news for that, but these polls are just like online, like I guess interest gaugers, and I don't really think they actually mean much. They also had there were also like articles among various news sites about why VeChain is the best for enterprises. It's all stuff that we know, like their gas burn system, their blockchain as a service, BaaS system, making it easy to integrate, and the low cost efficiency of VeChain, which this gas reduction will definitely help. So yeah, those of you that were afraid of a vTHO VeChain price collapse, didn't really happen. It just basically was waiting for Bitcoin to turn back up. Like I said, I think VET is a better investment than vTHO at this point, because like there's really no prospect of vTHO actually going up in value because of utility. And I think speculation is going to be a little bit down, and I could be wrong. I mean, the speculators could just push it back up, but I could be wrong. But I don't think like there's that much speculative value in vTHO. But for VET, I think there will be speculative value, because VET will also probably be needed for programmable smart contracts, because vTHO is just gas token, it's not programmable, but VET is actually programmable. On the other hand, since the VeChain Foundation doesn't have any more incentive to actually push the price of vTHO down, if they speculate it up, nothing's actually going to happen. So you could actually look at a bright side for vTHO as well. But I actually prefer VET. But for those of you that were actually afraid that this was going to collapse the price of VeChain and vTHO, that didn't really happen. I mean, I guess it could still collapse the price of vTHO, but it's looking kind of unlikely. And the price of VeChain looks very solid. I do expect it to hit about 20 cents, hopefully, by the end of April. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you, and have a nice day.